everyone, welcome back to another episode of Apologetically Me. I'm Maggie.
I'm Wanda.
And we're here with your favorite movies from that era. This era will be the 90s. But before we get started, Wanda, tell the people what you got going on.
So I had a lot of updates this week, but they're not as important as this one. So June 2nd is the day of the provincial election in Ontario. So go out there and vote. As someone who lives in a democratic society, you should exercise your right to vote.
I completely agree. Doesn't matter which political party you vote for, as long as you get out there and vote. Side note, I bullied my mom into voting with me over the weekend. We did advance voting because I won't be home during the week. It was great.
Nice. I'm proud of you. I've bullied Jordan into doing advance voting, and I'm going to bully both my parents to go with me on the day of to go voting because the advance polling place is slightly too far than the actual polling place. If you're a 18-year-old Ontario resident, make sure you go cast your vote the same day this podcast comes out. Go listen to the podcast on your way to go vote.
Yay. Good update.
Thanks. What's your update for this week?
I officially started Accutane. To all the people out there who have been listening and following that I kept putting it off for so long because things kept coming up. I have officially started. I am in pain. My face looks yucky. If I put cover up or anything on it, it'll look even grosser. And it will hurt me more. So, this is it. This is not even week 1 yet. And this is tough because I'm getting my period soon, so like I tend to get like zits, like cystic acne, so then like the Accutane kind of like irritated it more, and it's like inflamed right now. It's throbbing. Yeah, like sometimes I can feel like one zit throb at night, but today it was throughout the whole day where my whole face was throbbing, and I was like, ow, this hurts. I want to go home and not see anyone. And yeah, that's how the journey has been. I don't know if it's like if I can blame Accutane or if it's just like really bad, but I have nothing else to blame but Accutane.
So you started on Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's only been 5 days.
Yep.
I'm hoping you're like getting like the front loading of the symptoms such that you only get better from here.
That was me knocking on wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is me knocking on wood.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll see. I'm optimistic. I gave my work a heads up in case I need to die and not go into office. It would be great if I didn't go into office because I need to like avoid sun exposure, and also like if my face is gonna look this bad, I don't want to have to keep wearing a mask. It will irritate me more. You win some, you lose some.
They actually like not let you go in if you say that, oh, like I have been taking Accutane and it is.
So I think they're very careful with their wording where it's like they won't force you in, but it's recommended that you come in. So my manager was like, just take it easy, like it's okay. It's a hybrid thing.
They don't track you or anything, right?
It's totally okay. I was in a meeting with her today actually, and she was like, I wouldn't have even known you were in the office. I thought you were just at home. And I was like, you think I'm at home wearing a mask? Like, what?
The even worse part is that, like, so my mom, who works in government, her manager and the majority of the team are not in the same place that she goes into. So what she does and what all of her coworkers do is sit on Teams all day, anyways, even in the office. And her manager's in a completely different city.
Oh my god. Anyways, what is your beef or crush of the week?
I thought you said when is your beef?
Was it today? Is it right now?
Well, actually, I did have a beef before I actually came into this, but I'm not going to focus on it because it worked itself out. And instead, I'm going to focus on a crush, a two-part crush. And so I have been really getting into audiobooks now as a hobby, and I've been using this app called Libby, which is, I guess, a library services app where you can download or borrow books and audiobooks through the library as long as you have a library card. And so I have been going through all the Bridgerton books. I currently just finished book 4. I am on the Mindy Kaling book. I'm waiting for book 5 of the Bridgerton series. And it's been great. It's really reduced my screen time, my streaming, watching TV show time. And I do a lot more stuff while listening to audiobooks. Not necessarily productive stuff, but more stuff.
So what do you do when you listen to audiobooks?
I don't know, like pitter patter around the house, maybe like clean up a little bit, maybe cook dinner, maybe go to the gym.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, my theory is that if I listen to the sex scenes of Bridgerton while I'm lifting heavy weights, I will get more testosterone in my system, so then the weights become easier.
Nice.
I don't think that's actually a thing, so no one take this advice. But like, what's the harm,
Mm-hmm.
really?
I respect that.
Yeah. And part 2 of my crush is big thanks to Maggie for letting me borrow and use her 2 library cards and renewing her Toronto library card while she was at work because she is just such a sweetie.
I actually lost that library card. Like, I went home and tried to look for it, so I'm so glad you had the library card number.
Yeah, to tack on to that, Jordan, when we were driving back from visiting Maggie and Nick for the first time and where they currently reside, Jordan was like, wow, Maggie is so considerate. She's one of the most considerate people I know.
Aww.
And I was like, yeah, I agree.
Aww, why would he say that? I didn't even do anything.
Well, because Nick has a dog, Jackie, who sheds and now sheds a lot and is not hypoallergenic. And I have animal allergies to cats and dogs, which we've discussed a few episodes ago at this point. And Maggie was just like super, super considerate. And like, I didn't even ask her to do all the things that she did, but like, she was super respectful of like my allergies, super considerate, like, asked if we could take the dog on a walk, even though we were all outside. And like, there was no reason for her to need to, but it was really nice of her to do so anyways. So both me and Jordan really appreciated her, and Nick.
Aww. Well, I feel like it's the least I could do. You know how we say we have very low standards for men? I feel like this could be applied to this situation too. You told me of your allergy and I wanted to be respectful of it. Fuck anyone who's not.
That is actually a really good point. You would think that the bar is higher, but I don't think I've ever been like treated as good as you've treated me,
As
like
a
because of my
human.
allergies.
Oh my.
Like most people like consider it, but they don't really go out of their way to really do anything about it.
I think we didn't want to ruin your first impression.
Yeah. What is your beef or crush of the week?
I'm just gonna say my crush is everyone. I think it's been a while since I've seen my friends. And I think it was nice when you guys came over, when you and Jordan and Prabby came over. And then yesterday too, me and Prabby and Nick and Jackie went to Toronto Island. And Jackie went on his first subway ride. He's been on the ferry before when he was a puppy. But it was nice that he got to go again. He's very tired today. I'll put a cute pic here for you guys to see. This stuffed animal. I've been sending it to everyone because I think it's so cute. Nick sent it to me when I was at work today. I have no beef, only crushes. All the love for people in my life. That's it.
Ditto.
You can't just tack onto mine.
My crush was you, so
Thanks.
like mine, it was like even more special because it was like an homage, a love song.
Oh, thanks. Remember this when I die.
Yeah, I will clip this and play it at your funeral.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on to our topic. 90s movies. Most of you guys, I think you may know all these 90s movies. Wanda and I were born in the 90s, so I think we were just talking about this too, that we felt like not a lot of our favorites came from this time era, mostly because we were born here and that most of them came from the 2010s kind of place. But I think it's important to note that the 90s is I think when the precedent was set. Like, I think they were the benchmark, I want to say, like, of what a movie should be, or like the classic genres of like what movies are. So, before I dive in with more commentary, why are you looking at me like that?
Why do you say that? Hollywood has been around for a
I
really long
just
time.
think that like they were so original. Like when I literally look at all these movies, like they were so freaking weird. Like Blade, The Matrix, uh Jurassic. I don't know why they say Jurassic. Oh yeah, Jurassic Park. Yeah, that's why I think it was like it set the benchmark. Like all these popular movies is what people reference.
I'm trying to
Clueless,
Yes, but
American
also
Pie.
maybe it's just people our age who reference those because that's kind of what they kind of marked as
Maybe.
their childhood kind of thing. Because I'm looking, like I'm not
These
disproving or doubting you, but like I'm looking at the '80s, and the '80s had Scarface.
well, 90's had Fight Club, American Beauty, Goodwill Hunting, American Pie, The Truman Show,
You're
Girl
putting
Interrupted.
American Pie along with like the best movies to come out in the '90s.
I think American Pie was still like, I don't think it was a big of a cultural phenomenon, but like when I see celebrities talk about it, I think they always reference American Pie and everyone having sex with a apple pie.
Okay, yeah. But like the '80s had like I don't know, the '80s had iconic. When did Pulp Fiction come out?
I don't know, probably the 80's or 70's. I don't know. How old is Quentin Tarantino?
Oh, never mind, 1994.
Oh shit, it's in the 90's.
There,
See?
I want to say there are like Aliens came out in the night like '80s.
Wow, that's impressive.
Ghostbusters came out in the '80s.
Huh.
Like
Well,
I don't know. I don't want to say that the '90s were the defining era of like what movies are
I
now.
think they were to me, but mostly because that was when I first heard about movies. So I think they
When you
were
were
my
first
first,
born.
yeah, when I was first exposed to movies. So that's why I think this is the time era of when all those blockbuster movies came out.
Mm-hmm.
But you're
I
right,
see.
it could be the 80's. I'm just biased because we were born in the 90's and nothing exists beyond that to me.
That is some main character energy, but I think there's like the golden era of Hollywood.
Yeah, I think that's the 50's, isn't it?
19 1920s and continued to the early 60s. So
People
is
were alive back then.
yeah, like Betty White.
That's funny. I literally do not know a single movie from that time era.
Uh, yes. I feel like I would, but like I can't come up with any like at the top of my head right now. But like I mean, it's literally called the Golden Era. I know that's a cinematic choice, but also it's literally called the Golden Era.
Okay, fine. Redacted. I think,
Okay.
in my own personal opinion, the 90's were the birth of the birth of the OG movies. That's my personal opinion. Where's that meme where it's like, that's my opinion? And then her hair is like kind of moving with it when she yells. That's me.
Oh, okay. Don't know that one. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay, I'll let you dig into it. Give us your first favorite movie from the 90's
And
and
I think
why.
this movie is something that we can both agree on. I think we've talked about this in the past, but my first favorite movie, in no particular order, is 10 Things I Hate About You with Julia
Styles.
Stiles and Heath Ledger.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Question for
And wow.
you. Do you think this movie would survive if it had come out in 2022?
Yeah,
Hmm. Like
I think,
same reception and everything?
yeah, because it's based off of like a Shakespeare play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taming of the Shrew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So part of this movie, like why I think it still holds up is because there's a lot of like pro female feminist elements that is still very common in movies that we see that are coming out today. Like there's nothing there, I wouldn't say nothing, but I think there's very minimal like racially charged or sexist things that aren't also joked about in this day and age.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think if they did have anything bad. I think like the slight, like maybe gay jokes. Maybe not slight. I feel like there were more like gay jokes and like off the cuff jokes that wouldn't pass today, but I think you can easily tweak that for 2022.
Yeah, I think if they re-released it and cut out those parts, it's not like it like you would miss anything. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like something like 16 Candles where you'd kind of have to cut out like half of the story, I guess, because it's weirdly sexist and weirdly racist.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Um, but 10 Things I Hate About You. Heath Ledger is absolutely great in it. It started a long time crush of Heath Ledger. Um, I didn't even know he was the Joker for a very long time for some reason. I
It's
didn't put two
great.
and two together that Heath
Mm-hmm.
Ledger had died also. For some reason, the Heath Ledger that was in 10 Things I Hate About You was still alive in my head, even when though I found out that Heath Ledger had died. I'm not sure how that happened. There was just really like disconjointed thoughts in my brain about that.
It's because he like literally transformed into another person. That was really great acting.
Yeah. Um, Great acting by everyone. Didn't love the whole like Joseph Gordon-Levitt part of it, but you know, the main story was really good.
Yeah.
And can I say it's like one of my favorite movies? Like I still like watching it. Like what is your definition of favorite?
Yeah, I think favorite is like it's a feel good movie. I go back and watch it many times. I want other people to watch it. I force it down people's throat like propaganda. Um, yeah, like I never get tired of watching it. You're right. It is a great movie.
Yeah. Okay. Then yes, it is. I guess it's not one of the movies that I constantly return to because like it's hard to rewatch movies that are set in a different time period. I guess like because the cinematography has just gotten a lot better in the
Mm-hmm.
last 30 years. So you can really tell that like it's an old movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
is number one. Or that is my first one, not my number one.
We're tied for number one. That's also my favorite.
Oh. So, do you want to go into one or do you want me to go into my next one?
It's really hard for me to find one. Like I'm browsing all of them, and none of them have been like my favorite favorites. Like you obviously have iconic things like Notting Hill, Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, Sleeping in Seattle, but like it's not it's not my thing. It doesn't appeal to me. I
It
can't.
really has to be like what about Clueless?
I honestly didn't even like Clueless. Like Clueless is
I
an iconic movie, but I just it's not my thing.
I
Ooh.
like the fashion of Clueless,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole spoiler alert. She gets with her stepbrother.
Mm-hmm. I mean, former stepbrother.
But he's still like 20 years older than her or something.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
messed
she's
up.
in high school.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Not gonna lie. I think when I was watching, I watched the remake of that. It's called, well, it was based off the original actually. It's called Emma. Um, and I can't remember who it's by, but it's like a British thing. So the original premise of it, I don't think he ended up being a stepbrother. I think a cousin, a distant cousin. I cannot remember for the life of me.
Don't know what's worse.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Please, this is just approximate knowledge. That's all I ever have. I never have exact knowledge.
I looked up Emma, and are you talking about the one like set in the Regency era of London?
Yes, in Anya Taylor Joy's Emma.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. That's a remake of Clueless?
It's well, Clueless is a remake of Emma, but in more modern settings. So Emma is
Oh.
like basically the same thing,
Okay.
just
Um,
olden days.
what do you think is worse?
cousin or a stepbrother.
Yeah, distant cousin
Mm,
or stepbrother that you maybe kind of grew up with, but not really.
both are premise of pornos, I think. So not really great for any of them.
Cousin porn. Or maybe it's not that popular. But step bro, step
Stepbrother.
sis is
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Both are bad. I guess the stepbrother one is better because like you won't have if you have children, they won't have any like for deform deformed stuff.
And if it's a very distant cousin, you probably wouldn't either.
Oh, let's not take that chance. What if you end up being closer than you think?
Yeah, I mean, if it's set in the Regency era,
You
you
never
don't
know.
know. Well, because it's set in the Regency era, I think it's actually more acceptable.
Maybe. Anyways, I found my second one. So my second
Okay.
favorite is this animated movie called Anastasia. And I know
Oh,
it's not historically accurate and Disney and it's a Disney movie and I don't know. I don't know what else is wrong with it, but I really like it. Anyways, it's supposed to be based off like the Romanovs, like how the Russian family was killed, and there's like rumors that like their one daughter escaped named Anastasia, and that she's the last remaining member of the Romanov family. But this is not true because they were all executed, as I found out from that movie, The Gentleman.
how old were you when you watched that?
I was pretty young, but when this
Okay,
movie
good.
it came out in 1997, I was probably like 6 years old, 5 years old.
But like, when did you find out that Anastasia wasn't historically accurate?
Oh, it was in high school.
Okay, good, because that's when I found out too.
Okay, cool. I think it was like we had a history of the Romanovs or something, and they were talking about the family, and they were like, "There's a conspiracy theory out there that Anastasia survived," and I had Googled it. And I was like, "Oh shit, it's the movie I love!" And there's this song that I really like, and it's like, "Oh no no." I'm not gonna sing it because I'll get DMCA and copyright. But the bad guy is Rasputin.
Rah rah Rasputin.
Yeah. I think we had watched the movie The King's Man, not The Gentleman, sorry, The King's Man, where it's supposed to be the prequel to Kingsman, like how they were formed and stuff, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
like based off the plot, or like it's based off World War I, like how that all started. And I actually learned a lot from that movie because apparently we learned that the three emperors, or Russian emperor, the King of England, and German Kaiser, they're cousins actually, and I had no idea. That's crazy. And then I saw the Russian family be executed in that movie, so there's no way Anastasia could have survived from that movie.
Yeah, so I didn't love that movie. It wasn't like the Kingsman vibe that I
It
loved.
was
So
sad.
me and Jordan only got through less than half of it
Oh.
because it was too dark. And we did learn all of that stuff in high school. We were in the same class and we learned that together. But
You don't remember this. Me and Nick were like Googling and reading Wikipedia, and we're like, wow, this is true.
I don't think there's actually a secret organization that killed them, but you know.
It's nice to imagine. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was a great movie. I haven't gone back to watch it, so I don't know if that makes it my favorite, but it makes my heart feel good to remember that movie.
It does. The conspiracy theory about one of them being alive somehow also makes my heart feel good. I don't know why, but there's a little part of me that feels like one of them maybe got out and it's just living a simple life in North America.
Most likely not. I think they had a lot of incest in the family, right? So they would have been really deformed.
They seemed okay from pictures and stuff, but maybe I don't
Hmm.
know. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
What's your second favorite?
I guess like mm, my second favorite will be another cartoon, and it is my tied for first occasionally, but usually my first favorite animated movie, favorite Disney movie, Disney princess movie, and it is Mulan. And it also is historically accurate. I'm kidding. But there's a tale about a person who could be named, who was named kind of like Mulan-esque. I don't think they shared the same name, but it was kind of like a female warrior that dressed as a man that helped save China, which is the plot of Mulan. And it's really great. Eddie Murphy's really great in it. The remake of Mulan was not as great as the cartoon version, but are we really surprised? The reason why I think Mulan really sticks to me from like all the other princess movies is like, one, because I think the songs are really good. Like I often just sing the soundtrack of Mulan just for fun. And two, because I think it's very relatable as like an Asian person. It was one of the first like Asian, I guess, movies or animations to kind of come out of Disney. And this was like back in like 1997. So it was like early days. So I'm a little bit surprised that they made it. But maybe then it was like, oh, lucrative in the Chinese market or something.
I thought you were gonna say it was relatable because you two have like gone to a war for your dad.
Yes. No. I don't think I don't know. I've no, I don't think I would.
Fair,
But
fair.
there's one part in Mulan that has always annoyed me a little bit. And her name is Fa Mulan, but like she calls herself Ping in when she's a man. And her last name is Fa. But in Chinese culture, you say the last name first when you're saying a name. So her name was Fa Ping. Like
Fapping.
did no one think about this? Like, so every time I watch a movie, this part drives me nuts.
Fapping. Well, I think
Yeah,
back then fapping wasn't like a slang thing. I think it only became popular in like the 2010s.
I feel like it was pretty popular in the early
I
2000s
don't
too.
think so. I thought fapping became a thing after 4chan.
I feel like I watched this in elementary school and I was triggered by this already at this point.
Fapping origin. When did fapping become a term? In 1999.
Hey, fair. So if fapping became a word in 1999 and the movie came out in 1997, I will give it a little bit of a break. But
Yeah.
also, come on.
Back then, it probably took 2 years to like make this movie with all the animations. Let's be real. We'll give them some respect.
Slack.
Fapping.
Yeah.
To be fair, they were Chinese too.
Yeah, but like the thing is, it's like they could have had like any name. There's so many like Asian names out there. Like, why did they have to go with Ping? It's not even like most people make names like out of like their original name. So her name was like Fa Mulan. So like, why not just do something like close to it?
They expect people to not be immature.
Okay, well, it's a Disney movie.
Okay. Do you think it would have survived in this day and age?
Oh yeah, 100%. I still watch it.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna watch it tonight. Just for the
Nice.
fapping part.
It's just like all the songs are so great and everything.
I literally never thought about it until you brought it up.
I can't believe that's the only thing that I can think of when I watch this movie.
I did not even think about that.
Well, I'm glad to have opened your eyes.
Thanks.
What's your next one?
Man, there's so many movies out there. None of them have been my favorite, I'm not gonna lie. There have just been like movies that I'm like, nostalgic. Like Mulan is a very good one. You're right. That is a favorite. I remember we watched that in LA. Okay.
Oh.
My second shout out, sorry, third shout out, is The Mask featuring Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. Because, let me explain why. Because we had to go to the pizza store quite a bit back when I was younger. We had a VCR player to entertain us so that we wouldn't bother my parents while they were working. And it was supposed to entertain us. And we only had two VHSs back then. And that was The Mask and Space Jam. So, oh my god, when did Space Jam come out?
I think the 90s.
Oh,
Or unless we're talking about the new one, then
no, no, no,
2021.
not the LeBron James one. I mean the Michael Jordan one.
1996.
Oh shit. Okay, well, I'm just gonna put both because I remember watching them so well. So The Mask and Space Jam. The Mask, I thought was such a funny movie. I thought it was so weird. I thought Cameron Diaz was so hot even back then. I think that was like her first like major movie too, so she was like bright, young, bushy-eyed. And I thought it was an interesting premise. Like he wasn't a hero. He was an anti-hero because he kept robbing banks and being a perv. Would it have survived in this day and age? I think not. It definitely would not have survived. Back then I thought it was so funny. But so that's why it's like a little bit nostalgic now when I think about it. I would probably not go watch it again. I don't think it'd be close to my favorite movie, but I'm very familiar with all those scenes. I shouldn't have been watching that as a child. Space Jam, on the other hand, is a great movie. I think it also is not my favorite. I think it would have survived this day and age. My only like bone to pick with them, I guess, is that they kept sexualizing Lola Bunny, and I think that's why people are like so pervy and into furries. So maybe redo that little part. What was with the 90s and sexualizing like Jessica Rabbit and Lola Bunny?
Explains why so many people are furries nowadays.
Honestly, yeah. I just thought Space Jam was ahead of its age. Ahead of its time, sorry. They were famous actors playing with animated things. Imagine how they had to act. What a great movie. Great premise. Super weird.
Yeah, both movies I couldn't finish, but for different reasons. The Mask I thought was too scary, and Space Jam I got very bored.
Wow.
So, yeah. Could not comment on either of them.
To clarify, I could never watch the beginning of Space Jam because my VCR player kept eating the tape. So every time we got it back out, we missed the beginning. So I would never have seen the whole movie.
Have you never like gone back and rewatched it?
Like maybe, but I think I saw it once on TV and I was like, oh, what movie is this? And I was like, holy shit, it's Space Jam. Yeah. Okay, what's next for you?
So next up for me is also down, I guess, more of the nostalgic route for why it's a favorite, and it is Rush Hour with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. This is a movie that I can remember watching multiple times with my family when I was younger, and it never fails to put a smile on all of our faces. It's just such classic comedy. And the first one is just so good in comparison to the rest that slowly got worse. There are some jokes in there that probably would not be appropriate in the 2020 age. But going back and watching it, it's still really great. And then the bloopers at the end, also really funny.
I heard a rumor that they were gonna do Rush Hour 4.
That rumor has been going on for as long as like Avatar 2 has been going. But they are making an Avatar 2, so I guess like never say never. But I mean, they're both pretty old now.
Yeah. Jackie Chan used to do his own stunts. I don't know if he still does now.
I don't even know.
So.
Is he even still acting now?
I don't know. The last movie I remember him in was The Karate Kid.
The Foreigner was 2017.
Oh shit. That was already 5 years ago.
Vanguard 2020.
Don't even know what that is.
I honestly can't remember the premise anymore. It's been a very long time since I watched it, which makes me now want to go back and rewatch it. Thanks for the reminder.
I can't remember. I remember thinking it was like funny though, and like the jokes were like, but it's like okay. I don't even know if it's okay because like Chris Tucker's character makes a lot of like Asian jokes. Like he keeps telling people even when they're in China like to speak English, and that's like a little bit.
Yeah, character is pretty problematic though,
Yes.
anyways.
Yes. Jackie Chan's character, I don't think makes a lot of. I mean, I think he does say the N word.
Yeah. But like, I think he
This is
says
hard.
it, and then Chris Tucker's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. It's.
Um,
So I guess they both gave their consent to these jokes. I don't know if they would survive in this day and age.
yeah, I mean, it was the 90's, so it's like, I don't know if like consent was that big of a thing back in the day. There's like one, I think, where like they make like Chris Tucker says something about like Chinese food, and then like Jackie Chan is like, oh, but like should I offer you like watermelon or fried chicken or something like that? I don't know. It was just like, ooh. Um, Still kind of funny though. Which is this kind of goes back to the whole like the Jenna Marbles situation where it's like something that happened so long ago. Like, can you kind of like be held responsible for that? Like, why aren't we canceling like this movie director or this like script writer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We acknowledge that it was problematic, but we still go back to it. I feel like it's also a little bit problematic of us.
Yeah, but I can't. It's just such a nostalgic part of my childhood, and
Yeah.
it's like I understand that the jokes are inappropriate, and it's not like I'm gonna make the same jokes, but like I can't help but laugh sometimes.
And that's why we're all going to hell, guys.
Yeah.
Because of the Rush Hour movie.
Yeah, like I feel like I like if that's the straw that broke the camel's back to me going to hell, like
I wonder,
I was already going to hell.
do you think like someone born in 2020, if they were to watch Rush Hour, do you think they would find it funny?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if like we were clinging onto it because of our nostalgia or if like it just is not a funny movie, but we still think it's hilarious.
What if like someone who didn't like someone who's the same age as us but maybe didn't watch it as like a kid, so they don't have that nostalgia factor? Like, do you think that's kind of like the same?
Hmm, maybe no. I think it's different because of like, do you think I don't know. Wait, say that question again. Let me
Okay.
process it
So,
differently.
uh let's say someone who was born the same time as we were,
Mhm.
but in their childhood they didn't watch the Rush Hour movies. But we were to expose them to the Rush Hour movies now, do you think that they would find it funny or do you think they would find it more problematic?
Hmm. I don't think they would find it as funny as we do.
Okay, next question. Has Nick watched Rush Hour before?
Let's find out. Hey, have you watched Rush Hour before?
The Jackie Chan movie?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Nick has not watched Rush Hour before.
Okay, so homework for tonight.
We're gonna
Is-
watch a Rush Hour tonight. Wait,
Yeah.
has Jordan watched it?
I don't know. I'll ask him when I like go back downstairs. But if we haven't, then I am going to. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's like right up his alley. So.
I think Nick will find it hilarious. I think we're fine. Don't think he'll be hit with that nostalgia, but I think he'll laugh very hard tonight.
Okay. Well, keep us updated.
Yes, that'll be next episode, my homework.
Yeah. I love leaving you with homework. Like, I feel like so many episodes, I'm like, homework for you.
Test this on Nick. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what's your 4th/5th?
Oh man, another
Slash
one. These are getting hard. Ooh, okay. Another movie that we had on VCR, George of the Jungle, featuring Brendan Fraser.
Told you only had 2 movies on
Well, I thought I did, but then I remember I only have also the second half of this movie on VCR too. Our VCR player was just really messed up. Oh wait, no, this one or Tarzan? No, Tarzan. I'm gonna kick George of the Jungle out and put Tarzan in because Tarzan playlist literally is insane because it's Phil Collins, and I don't know if you guys know him, but he's like one half of that band Genesis. But holy shit, the Tarzan soundtrack is magical. Um, like the whole plot of Tarzan is kind of weak because I would get Tarzan and George of the Jungle mixed up actually. But Tarzan, I think, was pretty iconic for the soundtrack. I think everything else was like, eh. It was just a man who was raised by monkeys.
Mm.
And then he has to learn English and he's shirtless and jacked and somehow still handsome and gets the girl in the end.
Like, I don't think just because he's like raised by the jungle that he's ugly. Like, that doesn't
Well, you
guarantee
think
it.
he'd like be like more unsanitary, I guess.
And hairier.
And hairier, yeah. He just has like kind of long hair, but like clean shaven everywhere else.
Yeah.
Unrealistic expectation for men.
Yeah. I mean, there's like that kind of like joke where it's like if you ever see those like shipwreck kind of like movies that the women are like perfectly shaven and like just like slightly messied up, and it's like, how? If you've been stuck here for this long, how?
Man, I'm looking at other movies too. There's actually like some good ones, like Hercules. I love Hercules.
I
And
only watched Hercules once. It was okay.
I like it because
You
I
only
like
like
Greek mythology.
I do. I love Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that Zeus just fucks everything.
Okay,
Not like
well.
not like okay, not like that, but like, you know, like it's funny. It like okay, in like a terrible way, but it's kind of funny. I'm sorry.
Oh my.
Yes, it's bad, but it's also mythology, which means it's fake.
Oh, Titanic also? That's pretty like iconic. Not
Yeah,
my favorite, but iconic.
yeah. This was like prime Leonardo DiCaprio age.
I agree.
No.
Okay.
Titanic was scary. I was like because I knew the Titanic existed, I was constantly scared of boats.
Like being on a boat or just boats in
Yeah,
general were ominous.
being on a boat. To this day, I will never go on a cruise.
Wow. All because of the Titanic?
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I don't think you're missing out. I don't think cruises are that fun.
Yeah, like and like now that COVID's happened, I feel like it's even like a worse time to go on a cruise. So, I
Because now you're stuck.
with COVID, have you heard
Yeah.
of the COVID cruises?
Yeah, I don't know why people continue to go on cruises after COVID. That would
Mhm.
legit fuck me up.
Yeah.
What was your next favorite?
I think it's like I'm gonna combine these together. Again, not really a favorite, but more of like a nostalgia bait kind of thing, which is Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore and Pretty Women. Both very, very problematic movies. Um, so Never Been Kissed is this reporter goes back to high school, gross, um, to become a high school student and infiltrate and see what it's like to be a high school student and write about it, I guess. But the teacher ends up falling for her, even though he doesn't know that she's actually like a normal age. Like he thinks that she's still like a teenager. And the movie ends, sorry, spoiler alert, by her waiting on the football field or the baseball field and him running from the background and coming up and kissing her, and that's her first kiss, signifying that he has forgiven her. So many things wrong with this.
He should be happy that she is actually of age.
This is like Mulan, where like Shang is very happy that um Ping is actually a woman, because you start to see like, am I gay? Question marks kind of go through his head throughout the movie. But yeah, this is like, yeah, I guess he's very happy that, and like eventually she did tell him, or he found out or something, that she was actually like an adult age. But still, the problematic part is that he fell in love with her while he knew that she was a high school student.
Yuck. I have not seen that movie personally. I tried to watch it and I just like I couldn't get through it. It was just like so cringy.
Yeah. But like it was on a like, so I had like these channels back when I had cable, and it was like the W network or something, and like they would always play like these types of like old school like romantic comedies. And Never Been Kissed was on a lot. And so I watched it every single time.
Probably because I
Um,
guess I never saw it on the W network, and I only recently tried to watch it, and I didn't like it.
yeah. I don't think it, like, I honestly think that if I were to watch it again, I wouldn't be able to get through it.
Hmm.
It was pretty bad quality when I watched it in elementary school, so I can't
Yikes.
imagine what it'd be like now.
Yikes. Although the guy is like pretty hot, the teacher. He was in Monster in Law. That's where I remember him from.
That is
Hmm.
the one thing. That is the only reason why I was like, ah, yes, me as an elementary school kid. I also like this man. We hope he gets the girl. But I also, like, I don't think I saw it as problematic when I was a kid.
Yeah,
So,
that's because you're a kid, though.
yeah. Wow,
That's
he's
that's what
53.
these movies are appealed to, children.
No, I don't think so.
These
I feel
movies
like
are appealed to children.
I
What
don't think
30-year-old woman is sitting there at home watching this being like, yes, I love it when men my age go for younger 18 or 14-year-old children?
I honestly think that this movie probably appeals more to like that demographic of women than it would be to like a child, like
Creepy.
12-year-old me.
Yuck.
Because like you don't make movies with like 12-year-old kids in mind if it's not like a cartoon.
Wait, sorry, how old was she supposed to be in this movie?
I think she was like in her 30s or she was like late 20s, but she was 17 when she went back to high
Hmm.
school.
Yikes.
Yeah. But the other problematic movie, which is also a nostalgic movie, was Pretty Woman, which Julia Roberts, love her, um, is a prostitute who gets picked up by this very rich man and then pampered and then becomes his girlfriend. But there's a very iconic scene in there where she goes into like a store on Rodeo Drive, which is I guess like a very like expensive street with a lot of designer brands, and like they basically just ignore her. And then she comes back the next day like dressed a bit more proper, I guess, with like shopping bags, and she's like big mistake. Big mistake for not serving her the day before.
But like nothing happened to them.
Yeah.
She's just like, look at me now.
Yeah, look at me now with spending all this money.
Yeah. The Office did a joke about that. They made Dwight go in after he was rejected from the shop. And then they like made him look more handsome and stuff. And then he was supposed to go in like, you were supposed to sell this to me, and then you didn't because of how I looked yesterday. Big mistake. And the store owner was like, actually, I didn't sell it to you because your hands were covered in blood.
What?
He was like, it wasn't blood, it's beet juice.
Uh,
I'm like, sir, you literally look like a murderer. I wasn't gonna sell you anything.
I mean, honestly though, if you like wanted to make the sale, you would have sold it. I honestly, anytime like anyone brings up The Office and it's like super funny, I always think of that one quote from like Twitter, which was like, men go and say that female comedians aren't funny and then talk about how funny an episode that of The Office is who was written by Mindy Kaling. So both problematic, both Pretty Women I have watched again because Richard Gere is just
Mm.
he holds a special place in my heart.
He was like the stud back then.
He really was. Yeah, my mom loves him.
Wow. But
But Richard Gere.
back then, Richard Gere was married to Cindy Crawford. He pulled it all looking like that.
Okay, to be fair, he is still very handsome.
Eh.
Arguably, like, yes, he looks old, but if my future husband looks like that when he's 72 years old, I would be a very happy woman. I think he's still very handsome. He has like a very kind, gentle face.
He has a kind face, but also I don't see how he's a stud.
Like Richard Gere when he was like Salt and Pepper was great. Sorry for objectifying men right now, but I'm just trying to prove to Maggie how handsome Richard Gere is.
He looks like he would hit on my mother.
Honestly, your mother would look great with Richard Gere.
He looks like a normal white old man could walk in right now, and I'd be like, "Who are you?" And he would be like, "I'm Richard Gere," and I'd be like, "No, if you say so." And it's just a normal white old man.
think you'd be like, oh, who is this like good-looking old man? And then you wouldn't be like, this is Richard Gere, but then someone would be like, oh, I think that was Richard Gere, and you're like, huh, he's good-looking.
I do hear that, like, when you see a celebrity, you just, like, feel different. Like, it feels like a celebrity. I don't know what it is. I think maybe when they're younger, it's because, like, they look, like, super made up and, like, they look, like, picture perfect. So maybe not as old. But I just remember reading comments.
I've never seen a celebrity,
Me neither, so I wouldn't know.
so I wouldn't know. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they'll trust that random person.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Anyways, do you have any more?
Nope, that's it from me.
Okay, that is all from me. What we have learned today is a lot of the things that we watched in the 90s would not hold up today.
That we might get canceled, but we hold on because of nostalgia, and I hope we only have this mentality towards movies.
Yeah, I mean, like, on the bright side, they're not like super, super problematic movies.
Oh man, we're going to hell for sure. We can't run for president now.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but like, if you're part of the Republican Party, you can be.
Yeah, they'd love to have us.
We're like, if ethnic women who are very problematic.
Nice.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Join us next week where we talk about the 2000 movies that we love that also may be canceled. I don't know. We'll see. But go follow us and like us on social media, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And go listen to us where you get your podcasts or on YouTube. And join us again next week, next Thursday, for another episode. Bye.
Bye.